Welcome to the 180 documentary. The 180 was partially sponsored by Global Foundation of Canada through a Can Connect microgrant. Thank you so much.
Hi guys. Over the past few months, we've had the privilege to be the hosts and directors for the 180, and we just want to do a little recap as the directors.
Yeah,
How would you say your experience has been?
honestly, I feel like ironically we had to do a 180 ourselves. I think I was talking to Daniel about it, but early on we found we had to do a switch up.
Yeah, definitely. I think going into it, we really wanted to dive right into the whole challenging what the youth are thinking about these different societal norms.
Right, yeah.
Um, but yeah, quickly we kind of figured out that the youth we kind of need to educate the youth a little bit on what these norms actually are before we can start challenging them.
Yeah.
Which I'm glad that we figured that out pretty early on. It was within our first couple of weeks of doing the project. But yeah, we did just kind of have to switch up the exact plans. But I still think at the end of the day, like it's been a great 6 months of doing this project. I've learned a lot. The youth have learned a lot,
Yeah.
and you know, I'm glad with everything that we've been able to put out and learn. So I'm happy.
I tend to agree. I found that in trying to frame the questions and the way that we frame discussions so that we could challenge the youth, I found that I've challenged myself a lot more than I thought. And I think that's one of my biggest takeaways, just the fact that we were hoping that we would be able to present these questions, these discussions in a way that we would best equip the youth to challenge themselves. But we, in doing that, we've also challenged each other, challenged our own beliefs. And I think for me, it wasn't chaotic, it was fun. Being able to say, wow, like that has actually grown on me, that's changed my point of view. I think so. Quickly, what was your best month and the best takeaway from that month?
For me, the first month that popped up was the first month, gender.
Oh, gender
Yeah.
norms.
Yeah, gender norms. I found that the youth had always a lot to say, and especially I think within just like the first week we did it, we had to spend a lot of time just working with the youth, figuring out what gender meant to them, and how we could go about this discussion. And that was partially how we started to come across, hey, this is might not be working. This is where we may need to start switching up, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say probably. Ooh, that's actually kind of tough. I think race or culture, just because I really liked the discussions that we had, especially doing our mini revisions where we watched the
Yes.
films and then got to talk about them afterwards.
Yes.
I think for us, honestly, that's kind of been some of our best podcasting times, especially when we talked about Harriet. I actually think that's
Oh.
my favorite podcast that we did. And I wasn't even in the conversation for that one, but listening to it and editing it, I was like, these are just great answers. You could tell that the youth were really, really, really engaged.
Yeah.
And then just the discussions throughout the whole month were great. And then culture too. I mean, it's yeah,
Yes. I definitely have to agree. I think Harriet and The Woman King, those months and podcasts for me were the ones where I felt like we were accomplishing our goal.
yeah,
Because the kids were not just hitting surface level, they were going deep. They were like, one of the kids talked about blackness. And just the fact that they could see that the movie portrayed a sense of blackness, not being black, but blackness as a coat to wear and an honor, a badge of honor. Just the fact that they could see that, I was thrilled that we were able to evoke that kind of response from them, but also that they could comprehend what was going on in the movie to that point that they could say, "This is what this is," and we think this because of what we saw.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
I would like to chime in that a lot of the discussion that was happening during the movie too was very like introspective too
I agree.
about what it meant to them and what it just meant in general, right?
I agree. I agree. And I think today was also fun. Today we went on our trip. Today we had our last day with the youth, and we went on a trip. We went to Toronto Museum. We looked at some
The Scarborough
cultural,
Museum.
yeah, the Scarborough Museum.
Yes.
Sorry, we looked at some culturally significant buildings and some equipment and stuff that they used back in the day. And I feel like that was a good connection to what that was a good connection to the culture month, but also for the kids to get a look to see that honestly, our histories, meaning Canadian and African, Pan African, Caribbean, our histories are not that far removed, you know? And just the fact that they were able to see that, they were able to experience it, and they were able to internalize it for me, I think that was also very, very brilliant for me as well.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. This was a lot of fun. I know we had sat down and kind of wanted to do a few different places we are thinking about for a trip, but I'm really happy that we decided with this one. Just because I mean, it was one, it was easy to set up and to plan for, but it was a nice calm time, and like you said, like we were able to learn about kind of older Canadian things and just how a lot of stuff the similarities, like there was a lot of old artifacts from, I think they said, between like the 1850s and 1910s, and there were like some of the youth that were like, oh, like I know back here, like we've had this stuff, and we've had stuff that's similar, so
Zoe.
it's
Zoe.
yeah, and
Zoe
Zoe,
was
yeah, one of our
going
youth,
off,
she
yes.
knew so much, so it was great just to be able to be in that kind of situation where the youth are in a generic, this is what a Canadian home would have looked like
Mm-hmm.
100 and something years ago, and they're able to say, hey, I learned that in Uganda, where I'm from. Some of these like these pots or these vases, or the way that this like couch looks is similar to what would have been there in Uganda or Barbados. Like that sort
Yeah.
of cultural mesh was great.
Yeah. During our time here with the youth, we have gone through many different topics. Today, we're just going to touch on the first two, which is religion and gender, and we're going to just see if their points of view have changed now that they've gone through the entire program. So, our first one was gender norms. Do you guys think that we, based on what you've learned in the program, do you still subscribe to those gender norms, meaning women should be the homemakers, men should be the breadwinners, or is it a fact that you guys didn't subscribe to them to start with?
I never subscribed.
Never
to them to
subscribed
start.
to them in the first place.
What about you, Taj? I know you're very controversial in this sense.
I never subscribed to them.
What?
Yeah, I never
Okay. What
subscribed
about
to
you, Prince?
Nah, I didn't
Nah?
subscribe.
What about you, Danny?
I subscribe.
You subscribe?
Yes.
You think women should be the homemakers, men should be the breadwinners?
Yeah, but like but the program really just educated me and like it changed my point of view. So yeah.
Do you guys think that the program did a good job at challenging you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait,
Yeah.
wait, wait. I was gonna say. I think some gender norms are good.
Yeah, some.
Yeah, some
Okay.
To,
some
to an
gender-
extent.
Quickly, let's get that. Let's unpack that quickly. Which ones? Quickly.
It's for example, bathroom separation,
Yeah.
those stuff, and sports separation as well.
Yeah,
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
I can get behind. I can
What's
get back
bathroom
that.
separation?
Meaning, anyways, let's not go through it right now. He's just saying that he believes there should be bathrooms specific to this gender and not other genders
Oh.
going into the bathroom. I
Right.
kind of agree with that. I think it's a little creepy, but
And
that's from my
sports.
point of view. And sports. I kind of
Yeah,
agree with
that's
that
a
too.
big one.
What about religion? We had a rocky hard time with religion. Most of us were Christians, so we didn't really have a time to challenge anyone. But we also today we went to the thing about culture today. We were able to see a little stuff that I guess it taps into culture. But we as Black people, our culture is a part of our religion. Our religion ties into our culture. So what do you guys think? Do you think we did a good job of kind of challenging your perspectives of religion? I know most of us here are Christian, but we all have different denominations. So do you think you were able to at least learn or be challenged by the different denominations?
Yes.
Yeah. Could you give an example?
Could you repeat that question?
Uh,
Like,
so,
can you like, put it into layman terms?
so layman terms, do you think we did a good job of making you understand how different people in different aspects of Christianity operate? For instance, Good Shepherd is non-denominational, the church we're using right now, and they've been very welcoming to us. They don't care whether you're Catholic, agnostic. They don't care if you're Pentecostal. They care about the congregation being a gathering of brethren. They don't really care where you come from. So do you guys think, even not even 180, do you think that the space we're able to hold with each other has done a good job of challenging your religious norms?
Yeah.
Yes.
Could you guys give me an example? Like for me, my culture, we're very, very pray hard, pray the stress away people. But I found that 180 has taught me to just like sit down, meditate in it, just find a solution, and not just pray. Sometimes the solution is to use your brain. And I find that sometimes we as Christians, we want to be up and say, oh, God, take this problem away. And God's giving us the power to take the problem away ourselves, and we're not using it. I think that's one thing that this program has helped me to question myself on, challenge myself on. Why am I not taking my strength? Why am I not using my strength? Can any of you guys have any similar examples?
Like it also made you like see things from other people's, like, because we're not all the same. Like some of us like don't like, most of us were like Christian, but like some of us don't like see things the same way, and like we can understand and like learn from each other more about like, yeah.
I kind of agree with you guys. What about you guys over here?
I thought like the 180 program really educated me more than it challenged me. because I already had like an open mind about religion and how different cultures take religion onto. So it really educated me on how different people actually use that in like their day-to-day life.
Hopping off of what Daniel says, I agree. I don't really think it challenged it. It just like opened my eyes more, you know? Like I got a more broad understanding.
Anyone else? Anyone else? Well, you know what? If there's nothing else, I think our slogan is seek the challenge, be the change. But sometimes you don't have to be challenged. You just have to be the change. You just have to know that there's need for change and be the change. So with that being said, that was the 180. Seek the challenge, be the change.
So, the first question is, what was the best month and why?
Okay, so like the best month of the 180 was I think that the first month, it was called the gender. So it basically changed my perspective of like how I view different genders, how like gender assigned roles. So yeah, it really gave me a different perspective of how I look at other genders and like the amount of genders that we have in the world.
The second question is, what's your biggest takeaway?
My biggest takeaway from the 180 was the heritage month, the culture month, and the gender month. Because those three, what's it called? Those 3 months really, what's it called? Educated me on on the different genders, the heritage of like me as a black person, and like so yeah, that really educated me.
Has your POV changed or no?
My point of view, like, it's slightly changing because it really, the main point of the program was just to educate people. So it educated me on like different gender roles and how gender assigned roles like has been given to people, women, men, and different people that don't subscribe to the gender role. So yeah, it did.
In December and November, we were talking about religion. Something about I learned about religion. I spent more time reflecting on myself and learning about religion. It was a time where I felt more connected to my values and understood things on a deeper level.
Okay, the second question was what was my biggest takeaway from religion? My biggest takeaway in religion is that religion could play a really big role in shaping people's values, choices, like in life. It helped me understand why people believe what they believe and their different beliefs, and religion can bring meaning and guidance to the community.
And the last question was, how has your point of view changed or stayed the same? My point of view has changed. Before I didn't think as much about how important religion is to people's identities. Now I have a better understanding and respect for different beliefs.
More often open-minded and aware of how religion influences people in different ways.
Today we went to the Scarborough Museum. How was it for everyone?
Good.
Nice.
Anything stand out?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like the difference between now and then, like the architecture and all.
Okay.
And like how people used to live back then and what they were using as their sources.
Yeah, like the sewing machines.
Yeah. So I believe this is panel 2, and everyone was here for, what was it? Culture, tradition, race, and I think I'm forgetting one thing. And I believe everyone here did skits, right?
Yeah.
What was going through your mind when you were doing the skits?
Nothing.
Just head blank, empty.
Yeah.
Yeah, and doing what you were told to do.
Yeah.
No. Oh.
No.
Is there anything you could like take away from those skits?
I'm gonna say it build up confidence
Confidence.
to be like
Yeah.
more in public.
True.
Like to be like more of like in public, because like I don't like being in public with specific people, so it built up that confidence. And I think now I could like be able to like act, or like if I'm asked to be like in a school, like a school activity or something, to be on the stage, I can like go do it, because like now I'm kind of used to it.
Okay.
What about you guys?
Was great.
Do you feel like anything changed in your perspective about your race, culture, tradition, or heritage?
Yeah, I'd say.
Can you please say the question again?
Do you feel like anything changed in your perspective about your race, your culture, your tradition, or your heritage?
Yeah, I'd say I got to know more about other people's culture, like music, food, and I got to know myself beyond like the stereotypes, like what people tell me I am. I got to know more beyond that. Yeah.
Oh, some of you were participating for that potluck, right?
What?
What?
Yeah, the potluck that you cooked for.
Potluck. Oh.
Yeah.
What's potluck?
Yeah, do you
Yeah.
remember?
What is that?
Yeah, the one Amira
What's
cooked
one
for.
takeaway? Let's quickly one takeaway for that.
That
I was not there.
if you decide to get a partner who is from a different like a different country or something, like it's gonna be easy for you to understand what I'm gonna say. It's like it's gonna be like the food we make, since it's like from different countries, it's gonna like if you get a partner or something who like from the same country, who's like from the same country, like you're gonna be able like to have an idea of how their country is and like what type of food and stuff like that. I hope you get it.
The
180. Seek the challenge, be the change.
So for me, the best month was Heritage, because you know it really like helped me dig into my roots and really realize where I was coming from. Especially a good example for that is Harriet Tubman, when she was she was a slave and she was trying to get freedom, but all the people around her were telling her not to do that because it was risky, and it really showed like how you shouldn't let other people's like influences like decide your decisions.
The best month was the one where we did the race or heritage, because I really liked when we watched the Harriet Tubman movie. It correlated with the black in me, and I'm sure with the black in the rest of us, except Daniel. And it really helped us understand where we come from, especially our people and everything. So, and I just liked talking more about our culture and our race and everything in between.
The best month for me was month 2 where we're talking. I mean, month 3 where we're talking about race and heritage. Mostly because it was actually February and we got to honor Black History Month for its purpose, like Black history. We got to talk a lot about race, and because it's a big part of my identity, I was able to get to know myself beyond the stereotypes. I was able to talk a lot about slavery and oppression and talk to other black people as well and get their point of view. And yeah, I think that was the best month for me. Also, what my biggest takeaway? It has to be in month 4 for culture. I got to know a lot about other people's culture. I got to be more open-minded. I got to know about food, music, what they do back home, and their history as well. Because we, as much as we're all black, we also have like different histories, I guess. And then, did my POV change? I'd say it didn't change a lot. I just got to be more open-minded, got to know other people's opinions, and yeah, it was really fun, the 180. Thank you.
Perfect. Okay, so first question, what was the best month and why?
The best month to me was race and heritage, and I say that because I felt like I learned like a lot about like more about what race and heritage is, and I feel like that'll help me like moving forward in life and having knowledge about that. So
Amazing. And then what is your biggest takeaway from the 180 project?
I would say that my biggest takeaway would be like knowing more about culture, honestly, because I guess growing up I haven't really like learned much about it. So yeah, I would say that is my biggest takeaway.
And then, do you think your point of view has changed at all, or do you think it's stayed the same since the beginning of the project?
I feel like it has changed like drastically, and I've like learned so much, and yeah, so yeah.
Perfect.
Well, guys, it looks like we've come to the end of our time. It has been a pleasure hosting this with you guys. I think
I actually have one more question.
Okay, yeah.
Um, so, if we were to keep this project going,
Yeah.
maybe not at the exact same scale that we're doing it now, but maybe some small activities and events. What are some other topics you guys would like to talk to with the youth, or talk about with the youth?
Topics we haven't done before.
Yeah, topics we haven't.
I would definitely want to go through the socioeconomic status and socioeconomic normative views with the youth. I think that because they're all most of them from African countries, they kind of see themselves as on one level. But I think it's important that they see that society doesn't see us as on one level, and we have to prepare ourselves for that. That's definitely a month that I would like to go through with them if we continue.
Something I brought up was environment.
Mm.
I feel like environment would be a very interesting topic to also cover that can also link in many other different topics.
Nice. Yeah, I think I kind of want to talk more about the age. The youth know a lot about everything that is popular and just around their own age groups. I want them to learn more about kind of some older people stuff, some younger stuff, and again bring that mesh on how older generations and younger generations can merge, and again see the similarities, see the differences, and
We actually had a bit of that in our cultural month, and I'm glad you said that.
We did. That's why I wanted to have it be its own specific topic.
Yes, that would be tough. That would be tough.
So yeah, maybe be on the lookout. Maybe there might be some more revisions, some more 180 thrown into some of the other stuff we do.
Yeah, that would be great. That would be great. It looks like our producer's telling us we gotta hurry out. So, guys, this has been the 180.
Seek the challenge, be the change.
Make sure you check us out and follow us on Instagram to see our short skits and our pictures. That's unity.programs on Instagram. Don't forget to also search and follow us on Spotify and YouTube. Search up the 180 podcast to listen to our podcast. Thank you again to Glocal for partially funding the 180 project. This has been the 180. Seek the challenge, be the change.